right, gang, welcome. So here's what we're going to do today, guys. We've got about an hour, and what we're going to be doing is an apprentice spotlight of my guy, Zane. Zane's been with me for, I'd say, just under 90 days at this point, or maybe right at it. And we've got a lot to cover there. But I think before we talk about what, we talk about why, okay? Because it's Wednesday night. We could be watching the football game or eating another turkey sandwich or something like that. But we're here working on our business, okay? And so I want to talk about why before we talk about really what, okay? Here's what I know is that for many of you guys, 2025 was not the year that you had hoped that it would be. And you're starting to look at 2026 and think, well, maybe 2026 is going to be the year. And here's what I see about this time of year is that we start to let go of some of the baggage. And for many of us, we start to get some vision about what we could potentially do if we really decided to focus and really do things differently. And that's the key, guys, is that if we're going to do something, if we're going to attempt to get something different, we have to do something different. You guys see that? Like, if we're going to accomplish something, then we have to have a different input to create the output. And this was really honestly very surprising to me because, at this point I've helped hundreds of investors create a real business. Now I've done approximately 1,000 deals in my career in 39 states. Now I've built the business up to a very, very high level. And it was very surprising to me that it's often not that people don't know how to solve their problem. They're almost all the time trying to solve the wrong problem. Okay. And so what I want to share with you guys is an example, a case study tonight that we see as being a little bit different than what most people share. Because frankly, there's the average case study we don't share because we could do that all the time. What I really like to share is an extreme example. And when we see this, it's either that there was a lot of deals very quickly, or the deals are of like very, very good size, or we had some kind of an X factor that I've had people that have never bought a piece of real estate ever come in and do very, very well with us. And so that's something that we really like to showcase. Or somebody's very young, or maybe somebody's older, and what we're trying to do here is build vision and build belief, because belief is power, but doubt cramps energy. FDR said that. So if we have a great vision and a compelling vision and a great focus to accomplish something, that with a big enough why, we can overcome almost any how. But it starts with why, okay? And I think that this time of year, we start to get more vision. We start to have a better belief system. And so we wanted to do this spotlight of Zane, who's 19 years old. I think he was probably 18 when he started, but really talk about his story of what he's accomplished in really 90 or so days using these systems and processes. But then also for you guys to hit him with questions in the chat, because Zane is spending his time tonight. I'm spending my time tonight. Other team members of mine and other apprentices are here in the chat, like Jen and Patrick and many others. And what we're wanting to do is really to build belief. And for the people that are kind of on the sidelines, maybe you're thinking, maybe I want to do real estate. Maybe I don't know if I can do real estate. Maybe the apprenticeship investor creator is something that I might want to do. Then you can really start to get some vision and really just ask Zane himself, like, how is he doing what he's doing? So does that sound like a plan? We'll spend about an hour together and really just have fun with this. It's my goal to serve you guys in the highest possible way that I can. And the best way that I can do that is you guys hit us in the chat with questions so that we can help you with the struggles that you guys are having. Does that sound fair enough? All right, cool. Zane, man, appreciate you being with us. Take a minute, and if you don't mind, kind of tell everybody your background prior to IC.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me here, Brad. I really appreciate it. Before I joined IC, I only had a year in between really turning 18 where I could actually do things besides just working 9 to 5s. And right when I turned 18, I got my real estate license. So I was a realtor selling real estate, did pretty well with it, just saw it wasn't scalable. I felt like a growing fish in a small pond. And I was like, okay, I need to pivot. I need to do something different because my end goal isn't just to create millions, which is really the limit as an agent. And that's working more than anyone should work. So I continued going to CREA meetups, just my local investor meetups. Always been interested in that. And I connected with someone there. At first,
I
I
forgot
was
about this.
really hesitant about joining IC just because I was like, I just care about the marketing. That's what I told the guy who introduced me to it, and he's a great guy, and he got me into it, just like slowly feeding me like information, like telling me, hey, just give him a shot, talk to him a little bit. I did, and I saw, okay, maybe I'm being a little ignorant here. Maybe I need to be open minded. I don't know everything, and I've learned a lot through the process.
Cool. And so the person that you ran into was Charlie Parker. Is that right?
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah. Okay. I'd forgotten about that. So Charlie's one of our support call coaches. Charlie did 1 million with me in, I believe, 1 year, 4 days. He was the first person to almost break the 4 minute mile of 1 year, and one of his closings got pushed back. So I believe he was at a speaking event or something. Is that right?
Yeah, he was speaking in Korea.
Okay, cool. I'd forgotten about that. Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you were a little bit hesitant. Like, talk me through that. Why would that be?
Just because I come from a mindset of like, I can make the most out of the tools, and like I could be a little egotistical, like any young man can be. I'll be honest, and I'm just like, I just need the marketing. I'm good at sales. I've been doing this for a year. Just confidence can ooze into ego a little bit, but I listen, even though I'm egotistical. Sometimes I still have my ears open. And some of the things you guys were telling about was subject to, and that perked my ears up a little bit, just because all the investors I know, they run from it. So it was something different.
So now we've opened up a bag of worms, as my wife would say.
Yeah, right.
Because she's terrible at sayings. And I told her today, honey, I was like, and she's on here, so sorry about this, babe. But she said, that's going to open up a bag of worms. I'm like, honey, it's can of worms. It's can of worms. But Zane, you opened up a bag of worms there. What is sub 2, and why were people afraid of it?
They're afraid of what they don't know. It's more of just hearsay. People are scared of something they've never tried, and change is always going to be scary for anybody. They're just speaking on something they haven't done before, is why they're scared of it. Yes, there's risk involved with everything, which is part of what they're scared of with subject to, but the risk they associate with subject to 9 times out of 10 doesn't happen. And what subject to is, getting a little off topic there, is just
let's hit it.
Taking a mortgage that's already in place and just wrapping it around, taking it buying a property subject to its existing mortgage. So just taking it over, and then you owner finance it out, or if the deal's good enough and you want to create more equity play, just sell it if there's good equity in there.
Yeah, 100%. So guys, sub 2 is when we take title subject to an existing lien. So that can be a mortgage, could be a judgment lien, could be an IRS lien, whatever that is. But we're not qualifying for the loan. We're not assuming the loan. We're not asking permission from the bank. We're just taking title subject to an existing loan. So that's fantastic. So talk about, I guess, whenever you joined with us, and then I want to get to the deals. But whenever you joined with us, what was the process like? And were there anything that was surprising or anything like that? So just kind of take us through the journey.
Joining it was great because I love learning material, and just like being like, okay, having in front of me, and like being not like being told like this is how fast you can go through it is great, just because when I get my hands on something, I want to dive into it. So I pounded through the material in a few days there, and I was hungry for more just because it was good stuff. It was concepts I haven't heard about before, which really intrigued me, just because I feel like there's just so much, like, where you can get overwhelmed, or you can just be intrigued in everything and be like, okay, now what's that? And just keep asking more questions. It was great getting started. I went with David. He's one of the ads managers, and he's done a phenomenal job for me. It was slow when the ads first started off, though. I think it took 2 weeks. I didn't get one lead in the first 2 weeks, but I trusted the system. I listened to enough recordings. I was like, I prepared for this. My thought is like, I was planning on making no money for 6 months. I like being prepared for things like that. even though I love risk, it's just good to be aware of the situation. But then after week two, things just picked off for me, just lead after lead.
So a lot of people would have been flapping on day 14 whenever you launch ads and it's crickets for 2 weeks. So how did you deal with that?
I was good. I mean, I just did my cold calling because I'm a real estate agent. Just kept on keeping on. I wasn't worried. I trusted in David. I was like, okay, you do your thing. I'll do my thing. Just let me know if you need anything from me.
Cool. So when did the first lead come in, and tell us about the first triage call?
I think it was, yeah, right around like the 2.5 week mark or something like that. Still in September because I joined, I think like September 10th. Well, no, I started ads September 10th or something like that. It actually, I did paper my first lead that came in. That one's going to be closing hopefully here in the next week. It's been a long process. It was a subject 3. Oh, back to the triage call. Just scatterbrain.
Oh, that's cool, man. We'll end up back around where we need to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, right. The triage call, I mean, I turned my computer around so you could see what I'm looking at, but I put everything I thought was important from the courses. I taped it to my wall. So it's like that much, just paper. I read straight from it, didn't deviate at all. If it works for Brad and everyone else, it'll work for me. And it worked great.
Cool. Okay, cool. So first lead was about a week and a half in, and was you said that was the first contract that you had?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that deal and that motivation, that situation.
So what we're looking at, it's sort of one of those situations where you learn more as you go on. He was pretty tight-lipped. So, I mean, I wasn't going to force things out of him if he doesn't want to tell me.
Okay.
Just like it says in the courses and everything like that. But it's sort of a divorce, one of the big 5 there.
Okay.
He was out of state, living out of state now. And this is just a home that his ex-wife was staying at. Is what he told me, and she was renting it out. Apparently, she was supposed to be allowed to stay there, so there were some court problems and everything like that, but that's all figured out now. Yeah.
Okay. So divorce situation, which is one of our big 5 motivators. So guys, 80% of our deals are going to be one of 5 people. They're either pre-foreclosure, inheritance, divorce, tired landlords, or health or safety. And we look at health or safety being one grouping. Health could be a health diagnosis. It could also be a substance abuse problem. Okay. And safety is abuse. Okay. So it's either spousal or elder abuse. And I had no idea how much elder abuse happens in the world until a certain point we started seeing that, 6, 7, 8 houses a year we were buying from elder abuse situations. And the first time that I ever saw this in person, I had a lady, this was when I was still buying in person, my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. And I was walking through the house with a very sweet lady. She's still a Facebook friend of mine. She added me on Facebook and she still keeps up with me and I keep up with her. Very sweet lady. And she had a deadbolt on her door of her bedroom. Okay. And I looked at it and she noticed that I noticed it. And I said, that's interesting. She said, that's for my son. I said, that's for your son. Interesting. Tell me about that. And she says, he has an anger problem. I said, okay, he has an anger problem. I said, are you okay? Do I need to get you out of here now? And she said, no, he's out of town. We have an apartment. So this is a 3-bedroom house. We're going to a 1-bedroom apartment. The stipulation on the deal is only one thing. He comes with the house. We're going to be moved and gone when he gets back. He's your problem. I said, no problem. We've got it. Okay. And I had his stuff moved out to a storage unit and I prepaid, I think, 3 months worth of rent for him. But guys, these are the situations that you run into. Okay. Everything starts with a motivated seller. Okay. So Zane, you got this deal under contract. From the time that the lead came in to the time that you got the deal under contract, how long was that time frame?
Which side? The buyer side under contract or seller side?
Seller side, when you agreed to buy it.
Okay. That one, I think it was about a week or a week and a half. He was a tricky one. He was just
that was tricky. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He was not. He did not want to sign it.
Okay.
So just persistent. Called him like a crazy person a few times every day. I have multiple numbers as a real estate agent,
Okay.
and eventually he broke.
Okay. And so what was the conversation when he finally surfaced and agreed to sell and sign? Like, what did
He
that
was
look like?
like, man, I really thought it was too good to be true. He thought I was like a scammer or something like that. So I had to ease his worries there. And once I got that, it was a lot easier just to work with him. So I
Okay, cool.
appreciate it.
And so, guys, this was a sub three deal. A sub three deal is a deal that we never actually own the house. Okay. We buy it creatively, we sell it owner finance, and then we're assigned profit. So the profit's the down payment, it's the note, it's the cash flow. So it's much better than a wholesale deal because on a wholesale deal, you're getting 5, 10, maybe 15K as a wholesale fee. We're getting a bigger down payment generally. We're getting the cash flow, we're getting the note. So we're building cash, we're building net worth, and we're building cash flow all at the same time. Okay. And frankly, these are all on deals that you wouldn't do another way anyway. So, Zane, if you don't mind kind of sharing the numbers of the deal and like how the profit side is going to look after this thing closes, like talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So how this one works, it would have worked as a subject two. I was just like, why not try it as a subject three? I pitched him on it, and my plan was I just pitch him on a subject two later down the line if he was scared of subject three. I think it was right about like 120,000 is what I sold it for. Am selling it for. I'm just looking for a small down payment, 10K. It was slightly behind in arrears, 5K or 7K now in arrears. So the down payment covered the behind payments and the attorney fees and most of the closing costs. I should cash flow on the note 400 a month if it was for a 30-year term. But since the buyer wanted to do a 15-year term, I'm gonna cash flow $800 a month. So that'll be nice there.
Okay. So you've netted about $3,000 upfront cash, $800 per month for 15 years. And then what's the equity position on the notes?
Equity position on the note. I have to double check, but I think I didn't run on. I don't know. To be
No
honest,
problem. You've been running so fast you can't tally it up yet. So
yeah.
that's fine.
I
That's
try
fine.
my best. I try my
Okay, cool.
best.
Okay, fantastic. So once you got the deal under contract, I know you turned around and you marketed it with owner financing. We put a buyer in place. But what did that do to your confidence level? First, having a truly motivated seller, but then secondly, like getting that bad boy under contract.
It felt good. It was really nice because I'm working a couple subject threes in North Carolina in a certain part, and it's strange. It's just location and happenstance. You never know what area is going to be better or worse. So having one go under contract, it's like, okay, I can repeat this
Fantastic.
just because
Fantastic.
those other two were just moving slow.
Yeah, that makes sense. So got the first deal about 2.5 weeks that after we started ads. When did the second deal come in?
Well, I guess that was my first lead PPC marketing deal. The first one I got was from being an agent. I just saw a property I could subject three. I was going to
Okay.
list it. That one I still have on the market. That one's here in Marion, so it's about an hour from me, not far at all. That one we're looking at about. So it's a $300,000 mortgage. It's worth 370. Things are just moving slow. That's why it hasn't sold. Uh, what else? Is a low interest rate. So I should cash flow $800 a month if it's a 30-year. I just need a 30K down payment to catch the rears back up. That's been the problem.
Yeah, got it. And so that one's still on market.
Yeah.
Pat had a question in the chat. He said, "How are you finding your owner finance buyers best practices?"
Owner finance. I mean, you could see that in the IC program. It's all there. It's really helpful. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. The best is always going to be putting up signs.
Yep.
I go crazy on the signs. It says put 20. I put 70 for some houses. I mean, I just want it sold. I don't care what I have to do.
I love that.
Yeah, the signs. That's the answer.
Fantastic. And guys, for any questions for Zane, just hit me in the chat and we'll go through those in order. So I guess to recap, how many deals do you have under contract right now? And ballpark, like what is the equity position and cash flow position looking like on everything that you've done so far?
Good question. So I work a good bit of deals. So since last time we've talked, I think 2 have fallen out of contract,
Okay.
and 3 more I got under contract. So I averaged 9 deals. Yeah. Equity position. Yeah, I'll go with the 330, what you put. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I only really count it when it gets to the closing table, just because I'm so used to things
100%.
falling through. I'm like, I don't care. But what was the other question?
I don't remember, but Leslie had a question in the chat. When you say signs, do you mean bandit signs to sell owner finance? So talk to me about what the signs look like.
Yeah. So what the signs look like, just you want to put a fake, not a fake number, like use call rail or something like that. So it goes to like a voicemail number where you rave about the property, and they give you in the IC format a great just spiel to say. I do it word for word, just fix the price, the address, things like that. Just do the bed bath count and one interesting feature. If it's a really beat up home, that's an interesting feature. So anything that would intrigue a buyer. What else? Something I'm able to do in Asheville. I don't know what it's like wherever you guys are, but I'm able to put them on the posts, like the electricity posts, because we have a thing here where our energy provider actually owns those. So the township and the county, they leave them up. Like I'll have signs stay up for like 6 months, certain signs, just because it's not owned by the county. So if it's not in the soil, they won't remove it and they won't try to fine you. So that's pretty nice.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So Anthony has a question. He says, what does papering a deal mean? So walk through what papering a deal means, and when do you go to paper, Zane?
Yeah. Go to paper as soon as possible. No ifs, buts, or anything. Just get it signed. If it looks yummy, get it signed. What was the other question?
Yeah. So what does papering a deal mean specifically?
Oh, just getting it signed by my end and the buyer or the seller. So just being under contract.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting the deal under contract. So Anthony, what we teach is we want 75% certainty that the deal makes sense to go to contract. And we're looking for a reason to go to contract, and we're looking for a reason to not go to closing. So one of the biggest problems that I see, especially newer investors have, is they have a reluctance to go to paper because they think, well, what if this or what if that? I need pictures of the house. I need a payoff statement. I've had even people say, well, I'm pulling title to make sure title's ready before I go to paper. Okay. It's like none of that matters until we have it under contract, because like the worst thing that you can do is not put something under contract that needs to be put under contract. We can always cancel the contract later. So like the most tried and true decision-making model of business is risk versus reward. You know, what's the risk of going to paper? Very little, you lose some time. What's the reward? Potentially a really good deal. Okay. So that's why we go to paper quickly. So appreciate the question, Anthony. Patrick says, any of the deals you are getting, do you get scared to paper because of the concern of finding funding? That's a really good question. James, 100% get the fish in the boat before we decide if we're going to fry it or grill it. So talking about funding, are you scared about like, where am I going to find the money?
If it's a good deal, you'll always find the funding. Sometimes it's just annoying if you have to do hard money lenders. I like private money. I have a few private money people. They won't ask me questions. They'll just give me the money. That's great. It's just hard money, they'll run you around. They'll be like, oh, show me photos of this. I'm buying at 0.5. Why do you need photos of this? But yeah, no, you get the money if it's a good deal.
Yeah, and I've seen that to be true. Like I've never seen a great deal go unfunded. I've seen mediocre deals go unfunded. Yeah. You know, but I tell you guys, if you go to market once for money, you never have to go to market for money again. Like if you really go and raise money well one time, you never have to raise money again, because the people that you get connected with that have money, like it's really kind of crazy to me, the people out there that have 10, 20 million in cash, you know, so like getting connected with those people. But then if they start to run out of money because they want to keep you, they will find you the money. You know, they have resources, they have networks, they will absolutely tap their resources and their networks to find you the money if you are bringing them good, safe, clean deals. Okay. So Zane, what would you say has been like your top 1-2 favorite deals so far?
Well, I'm working one of them, about to close on it right now. One of them fell through, but I'll give you sort of the rundown of both. One of them, the one that fell through, I was going to buy for about 55K. It was worth as is. There was an active appraisal the month before for 120K. I should have knew it was too good to be true by then, right? So I was just going to put it on market, probably 100, try to get it gone quick, just get money in my pocket. But after I got it signed, the the bank the bank stole it from me right under the rug from me. The seller told me, "Oh, you're good. We're looking at them going to auction, the bank foreclosing on us in about a month or so from now." He lied. They foreclosed the day after I bought it.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, maybe if he told me the truth, I would have worked something out. But yeah, that one was a little bit tragic. But the other one I'm working, this one's even better. This one isn't from PPC, pay-per-click marketing. This is actually from an interesting situation. A guy I met at REIA. He has a local campaign. It's called Asheville Cash Buyers. I forgot the word for it, Brad. So it's not pay-per-click marketing. What's the other one?
Like
It's like
pay per
local.
lead.
No, it's just like the local marketing where you don't pay for it and there's reviews.
Is it like SEO, like search
Yeah,
engine
he
optimization?
has a search engine one, but it's really good just because he's been here for like 20 years, but he doesn't want to run it anymore. So he lets me work the leads. And if I end up taking it and not wholesaling it, I just give him a 10K cut. So that's how I got this one. What it is I'm buying it for 105, and then I give him the 10K. So it's 115K up front, and it's worth as is 240, 250K. So
Boom.
I'm gonna put it straight on the market.
So you're not going to fix it. You're not going to Joanna Gaines it up. You're not. Well, but why, man? Like you could make it pretty.
No, no. Not my tea. I like money, so I can put it in new deals.
Yeah,
The
love that.
plan is to up the budget once I get more money.
Okay,
So yeah,
and I definitely want to talk about budgets here in just a moment. So, those were two of your favorite deals. As best as I remember, you bought a house for 3 grand.
I did. Yeah, I'm buying. Well, I'm buying a couple for like 3 grand now. It's an interesting situation, but there's one that is really good. That's 3 grand. I'll run you through them.
Yeah,
I have a
please.
spreadsheet here. It's hard keeping up with them just because it's like one falls through, another new one comes in, or something like
Yeah,
that, for whatever reason. But the good one that I'm buying for 3K is as is. I think it's worth 50K, right? And I'm conservative with my numbers. I'd rather be 10K short, so it could be worth 60, could be worth 70. I'm gonna say 50K and hope it's 30K, right? As long as just have room for error. So it's worth 50K and all odds, ran it by real estate agents and everything like that. But the problem is I can't get an inspector in there because we have people claiming they're owners with a quitclaim deed. Yeah. So I called the police, worked with them for a while, tried kicking them out, and they were like, "Look, you're gonna have to like, we can't do anything. It has to go to court." And I was like, "Gosh, what am I gonna do?" But my title people, they're like, "There's no record of this. This isn't recorded." So I'm like, and I ran it by them. I'm like, "So they have no like you're giving me all assurance I'm good to go. So if I pull the trigger because I have title insurance, so for whatever reason I'm safe either way. I'm gonna buy the property with title insurance and then just evict those people. And if they actually do have a claim, then I could just sue the title, be like, look, you lied to me. So that's an interesting deal I have right now.
yeah, for sure. So I guess you're buying it for 3 grand because you can't get in to actually inspect and all of that, and you're
Yeah,
thinking, worst case scenario, the lot is worth more than 3 grand,
yeah,
but you're seeing the structure and it's at least livable. So
yeah,
a lot of people would think, gosh, those deals never happen. But you said that, I mean, that's a really good deal. Your 115 to 240 to 250K deal is a really amazing deal. And I think you said you had another deal that you bought for 3 grand.
Yeah. So, well, it's 3 grand now.
Okay.
It's under contract. It's going to go to a closing table. I filed a memorandum. I'm like, you're not getting away from me. They can't be foreclosed on since they don't have any loan. So that's the cherry on top, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this one's worth 30K as is. And that's pretty conservative. And I'm gonna buy it for 15K in total, right? 3 grand now and $100 monthly, which is about until that remainder of the 15K is paid off. So that's about like 10 years, no interest. Yeah.
$100 a month,
Yeah.
0% interest loan
Yeah, it made me
from the
laugh.
seller.
I was like, oh gosh. Oh gosh.
So when you were negotiating that, I mean, were you thinking like, am I really going to pull this off?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was like, I can't ask for that. Then I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. I was going to go for 200. Like, I was like, okay, this is good. I could do 200. Then I was like, no, let's cut it in half. Let's try that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you bought it for 15,000, 3,000 down, $100 per month until paid for the other 12. So
Yeah.
that's a 10-year loan at 0% interest.
Yep.
And then it's worth 30 grand as is, we think, and you're being conservative. So
Mhm.
are you going to own or finance that house and take the note, or are you just going to retail and take the cash?
Something a mentor of mine taught me is there's different stages to investing. I need money as a newer investor. So
Sure.
equity matters more than long term for me just because I'm building my business. So I'm going to take it straight to market, put that money in marketing,
Love it. Love it.
build the
100%.
business.
So what is your ad budget now? So for you to have 9 net contracts after, some have fallen through and some have been added. So we have 9 what appears to be solid contracts right now of purchasing. What was your ad budget to get there?
3 grand. Well, it started off the normal recommended budget. I think that's 2,000, but
Okay.
I upped it.
Okay. So you spent 2K month one and then 3K month two.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So that's 5. So are we at 5K total for the 9 contracts, or have we spent more than 5?
I think more, probably like 7.
Okay, that makes more sense to me
Yeah.
because I mean, 9 contracts out of 5 grand that look like this. I mean, your deals are really, really strong. Like we have great motivation. We've got big problems to solve. And guys, one thing that you'll realize in the business, and this is life, we're paid in direct proportion to the size of the problem that we solve. So I was teaching my daughter this, and some of you guys have heard me tell this story, but I was driving by the grocery store with her where I used to work when I was a teenager. And I said, honey, that's where your daddy used to work. And she said, what did you do? So, well, I would bag groceries and then I would stock produce and I would mop the floor. She said, Daddy, you used to mop. Of course, honey, you got to start somewhere. She said, Daddy, how much did you make? I said, your daddy made $5.75 an hour. And her eyes got big like this. And she said, wow, that's nothing. And I said, well, this is my opportunity to teach her that we're paid in direct proportion to the size of the problem that we solve. I said, well, honey, your daddy was paid $5.75 an hour because I would mop half the grocery store. And as soon as you would mop, somebody would come through with their buggy and put this little streak there, and you would mop an already mopped floor. That's the problem that I was solving. But as real estate investors, we solve major problems. Zane is solving major problems. He's helping title issues and finalizing divorces and stopping foreclosure. I mean, there's a big benefit to what we do as investors. And that's why we're paid what we're paid. Okay. So 7K for 9 contracts. That looks amazing. Guys, we're going to put a book a call link in the chat. If you want to talk about having these kinds of results in your business, then let's have a good conversation. We'll spend an hour talking about what your challenges are, what your goal is. If we feel confident that we can get you to the goal, then we'll talk about what membership and that kind of thing looks like. But if you're trying to do something that like we really don't do, or we feel like you don't need us, then we'll just be upfront about that and really do our best to point you in the right direction. So we'll drop the book a call link in the chat. Book a call with us. We have just a few slots. We don't have a lot of slots open, but we'll put that up for you. So Zane, one of the questions in the chat from Karen says, what's your current biggest challenge? And I think that that's a really good question.
My current biggest challenge, I mean, I have a lot of challenges in the day. I don't dwell on them. Good question. Good question. None come to mind. I guess just not enough deals to work. I want more. Yeah.
Nine at one time is not enough. I love that.
Greed. That's my problem.
No, that's not greed, man. We're serving people in a great way. Michael has a question I think I can knock out. Can you list a property on a traditional site like Zillow or Trulia, and what's the cost? There's no cost in doing so. The owner can put those up as a buy owner. Robert, what's up, man? Good to see you. He says, is there a good way to network with private money lenders? So how are you growing your private money?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. That was a little bit of a problem for me for a little bit. So I keep telling people spread the word whenever I have good deals. I tend to keep to myself and not do that. So I've been purposefully trying to tell people whenever I have like a good new deal, like, look, oh, I have this. It's hard to make it feel like it's not bragging, but you have to remember you're just trying to grow your business.
That's right.
So yeah, just tell the right people that you have deals. CREA, I'm a big member at CREA. I mean, I love the people there. I go just because I like them.
And I've been what is that for those of us that don't know what that is?
That's your local real estate investment group. There's REIAs in every state, every town for the most part, if it's a big enough city or something like that. And I'd recommend going. You have hard money. You have people who know more than you do about real estate. Just great people.
Yeah, and I've certainly seen it's a terrible place to get deals by and large.
Yeah,
it's a great place to find money. Yeah. Okay, because a lot of people, and I would suspect many of you guys, your biggest challenge is you can't find good deals, and that's just not the problem that we see. Jody in the chat says, what has been your biggest lesson so far?
My biggest lesson.
See, these are deep questions, and we can come back to them if we need to, but I think that's a really good question.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Just take it day by day. Like, also just don't count your eggs till they hatch. Don't make any moves that are going to put you on a financial burden as you grow your business. Be excited for your deals it's just be prepared for the worst at the same time, but like have a good attitude about it. Have fun, but be aware that things are going to fall through.
Yeah. So whenever you have a deal that falls through, which happens to everybody, and it took me years to understand that it wasn't me that did something wrong. Okay. So you're not like emotionally like down when that happens.
I mean, if it's a really good deal, I'm going to be like, oof, but I get over it quick.
Yeah. A little bit of a gut punch.
Yeah, it's a gut punch, but I mean, that's the business,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Pat says, can you describe what you're producing to private lenders? Is there paperwork? Are you offering equity? What's the collateral look like? All of that.
Private lenders, those are just people that know me and trust me for the most part. Like I said, the people at CREA that I met, I've talked to, we built relationship for a year now. I don't actually give them any collateral. They just look at the numbers and they're like, oh, this is a good deal. Please take my money. Because if it's a good deal and they feel comfortable, they're going to be like, yeah, why would I not get 12, 14% interest?
So are you securing them on the property?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the collateral is the property. Yes. And I think Emil says, how are you finding funding if you don't have your own money? Guys, if we had to scale this based on our own capital, very few of us would ever be out here. Whenever you have a deal, the deal is attractive to a private lender because, let's be frank about this. There are private lenders that loan to own. So their entire acquisition strategy is the worst thing that will happen for the loan is the best thing that can happen to the lender. So if Zane's deal that he's got for $115,000, that's worth on the low end $240,000 as is, and somebody comes in and funds that at 100%, that $115,000, the best thing that can happen to the lender is they repossess that house because the loan goes bad. So with that, that's why it's so easy to find money when you have a great deal. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Okay, Leslie has a question. Would you share the format of your spreadsheet and then how you discern the areas, good or bad, of cities you don't know?
Can you paraphrase that in the best way for me to answer, Brad?
Yeah, so we'll skip the spreadsheet thing and come back to that. So when you're looking to buy in an area that you've never been to, how do you figure out good/bad areas?
Good/bad areas. I I mean, I'm going to buy anything if the numbers make sense.
Yeah.
Good areas or bad areas don't matter to me. All that matters to me is the comparable set sold and what's on the market because that's my competition. But what has sold matters the most because that's what I'm gonna get for it, right? So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I do have a bulletproof vest rule that if Brad needs a bulletproof vest to go to the property, I probably don't need it.
Yeah.
And so those are deals that I'll put under contract and wholesale because it doesn't matter. Like I'll do some really stupid stuff to not get that property back if I sell it owner finance. And there's a certain thing such as Jerry Springer houses. So for those that don't know who Jerry Springer is, go to YouTube. And I've literally had that question in like the past 6 months. Like, what do you mean Jerry Springer? Who's that? But and Zane might be young enough to not understand that. So a Jerry Springer house is a house that attracts Jerry Springer people. Okay. So that's the junker houses, the crack houses that you're selling owner finance. And yeah, you can sell them owner finance, but then what do you have to deal with? A Jerry Springer person. And, for me, it's just not worth it. So we wholesale those out, but we'll do deals, good areas, bad areas, and in between. So Anthony says, how many leads is 2K a month?
It varies. It's never going to be the same. I don't know how many leads I've had so far. I really need to get better at reflecting. I just like going. That's my thing. It's not good. You need to reflect. It's important. But I can't give you a straight answer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anthony, so we're usually seeing between a $1,400 and a $2,700 cost per contract. And we're usually between 10 and 15 leads per contract. So right now we're at 11. So we have 11 leads that come in. We talk to 7 or 8 of those and we buy one. So that's the average that we're seeing across the entire community. Zane right now is doing a little bit faster than that, it sounds like, but that's what we're seeing. So you can kind of run your numbers based on that. Karen had a question. She says, wanting more deals, what's the deeper challenge? I guess in a way, like what's the bigger goal?
My goal?
Yeah.
What timeline are we looking at?
Let's say 5 years.
5 years, I want to be a multimillionaire and I want to start. Well, I want more people to be running this for me and I want to start investing in startups because one of my big goals is to go public with a company. So abstract way to answer that, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Robert in the chat, Real Estate Investor Association, REIA, that's correct. And so that's a national organization. There are local meetup groups in most major cities. And so you can connect with people there. Leslie, what's the difference in hard money and private money? I do think it's semantics to a certain extent, but Zane, do you have kind of an opinion on that? The difference in hard money and private money?
Yes, I've learned it. Well, you've never learned anything. I mean, but I have what I think is a good understanding of it. Private money is someone who's not like I have some people who don't secure aren't secure, but we just trust each other that much. So private money to me is trust, and they don't ask me every little detail of the home. It's typically one guy that has a lot of money, and then you keep doing deals with him. Hard money is an organization like a fund where there's a bunch of different investors, and then there's these people who find me or people like you that have these deals, and they're sort of like the middleman, and it's not their money.
Yeah. And they're brokers at that point. That makes sense. Chris has a question in the chat. I'm going to hit this one. Zane has not yet hired to my knowledge, although I think that's coming sooner than later. It says, how do you scale up, hire people for different strength positions? What I tell people to do with that is you want to stay in your genius. That's what you're good at, what you enjoy, what's high value. Okay. So all the time, because real estate is a very wide and a very deep knowledge base, it's not going to appeal. All parts of it are not going to appeal to any personality. Okay. So for me, I think Zane and me are wired very similar. We're gas pedal pushers. We're not breakers. Okay. We are revenue drivers. We're chaos creators. We're not the people that make the trains run on time. Okay. We're not the people that make sure insurance is on the house and that the grass is mowed. At least that's been my experience for me. Okay, so one of my first people is just going to be a catch-all organizer that I can give a to-do list and they go and do it. So as each of you guys scale and begin to hire people, who you hire is going to be dependent on what you enjoy, what you're good at, what's high value, which is going to be different for everybody. So for some people, I've seen that their first hire needs to be a purchaser, like almost like a buyer's agent for houses, a purchase agent. For most people, it's more of a generalist that is admin tasky. Okay, so it's going to depend on the person. Okay, I think we answered your question there. So Robert says, do you have to be a licensed agent to join that group? No. So this is the REIAs are not for real estate agents. They're for people that are aspiring investors. So 95% of the people at the REIA are newbies that have never done anything. And that's why it's not like super valuable for people outside of finding money, because the people that have money are looking for places to put that money into deals. Okay. Matthew has a good question. How many hours a week are you putting into this?
All my hours. Whenever a lead comes in, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. If I'm awake and I see it, I'll do it. I enjoy it. This is Monopoly. I like playing games.
That is true.
Yeah.
What we do is playing Monopoly professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one thing, Matthew, most of my people do start off part-time, and then as their real estate investor income grows to be greater than their full-time income, that's the transition. Okay. So I don't feel like you have to be full-time whatsoever. If you have 10 or 15 hours a week and a goal that's reasonable, then we can make this work. Zane, what do you think you'll do your first year? I mean, like, you came out the gate really, really fast. What do you think you'll do your first year?
I want $1 million in equity my first year. Just to keep
you'll hit that.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
More millions then, just to keep growing the business.
Cool. The fastest we've ever had anybody hit $1 million is 7 months. So you have the potential to maybe be in that range. We may have to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But
I guess I want to hire a team, like get to where I actually need a team, because I don't want people to do things for me unless I need them to do it. I'm not going to pay people to sit around. So I want to have so much deals going on that I have to pay people. It's like,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. And we can kind of have a conversation about this, and hopefully somebody gets some value from it. Here's what I see is that people hire too late. So by the time you feel like you need someone, it's already too late and you're behind the curve. And so I see at 1 deal per month that people have a shelf life. I don't know anybody that's been in the business for 10 years and has done 1 deal per month for 10 years straight by themselves. I've seen people do 30 deals in 1 year by themselves and then crash. And I've seen people do 6, 8 deals a year for 10 years by themselves. I've seen that. But I think it comes down to, it becomes death by 1,000 paper cuts, because you're all the time having to do the things that you don't enjoy. So I guess I would pose that question to you, Zane. Like, what do you not enjoy right now about the business?
Admin tasks. I like being a salesman, so anything salesy I like. So acquisition's my favorite. Admin tasks.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's exactly how I am. Now this is not good, guys, but I'm telling you, you don't have to be perfect in order to be successful. The first time I ever went to file an insurance claim on a house, I didn't have insurance on the house. That was my fault. And then I realized, okay, that cost me 40 grand. Maybe I should hire someone for 40 grand a year to do these things, So that's fantastic. All right, Anthony, I'm going to try to understand this. He says, so the incoming cash equity is the down payment from the buyer, note with the buyer, equity difference in the price/sale price. The outgoing is arrears, note with the seller, fixed cleanup. Well, fixed cleanup, we're really not on owner finance doing fixed cleanup by and large, like 98% of the time. Who pays closing costs? On a sub-3 deal, the buyer pays closing costs because Zane never owns the house. Okay. So in that scenario, the buyer pays their down payment plus their closing costs for total cash to close. Okay. All right. Karen is getting deeper here. She says, early I asked, what's your biggest challenge? And you answered more deals. What's the deeper challenge, i.e. not enough cash available for ad spend? Any reason you don't ask your current investors to fund that?
Can you rephrase that again? Sorry. Space.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, okay, one specific question. Why not ask your private money people to fund your ad spend? Is that something you've thought about?
I mean, I don't have enough leverage or experience in the community. I mean, that's a struggle, but I mean, it's to be expected. You have to earn that level of trust. I mean, maybe for somebody you can do that with enough experience. You could get more people to give you loans and things like that. But I'm a young buck. I have to prove myself, and I'm happy to do so. So that's just going to take time.
Yeah. What about social media? I mean, are you seeing social media being important to you?
No, I mean, I'm doing it. I'm gonna start doing it with deals I close. Just thinking long term, like, okay,
Yeah.
eventually, like I'd be like happy to maybe like I've listened to what's his name? Is it Richard, the your mentor, the one who taught you about owner finance?
Oh, David.
David, yeah, David was. He talks about like partnering with people, and that being like a way he finds a lot of deals, and like teaching them how to close it. And I'd be interested in doing that one day. So think long term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about social media, I think it's a really bad place to get sellers, but it's a really great place to get money. So
Mm.
like as Zane starts to post like, here's a deal I did, here's a deal I did, here's a deal I did at his age, everybody's going to start to look at him as just a wild man superstar, because that's what he's becoming, right? Anybody that can go from 0 to a million in a year is a superstar, and it's so fun for me to be a part of what he's doing. But for me, I have a vendetta to prove this model again and again and again. And so it's just so much fun to have another young guy do it. And my youngest seven-figure earner is 24. It's Tyden. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but has since moved to St. Pete, Florida. And it's just so much fun to see what these young guys are doing. I got started, my first deal was when I was 23, and he's just turned 19, which is just so much fun. So Robert says, is it worth creating a page to post your purchases to get private money? No, I'll just do it on my personal page. Check out my podcast. I have a new episode with a guy that's a social media guy. He raised 10 million on social media in the past year. And so that's at Investor Creator. We're on iTunes and all the other podcast places. But be sure and check that out. What do you want people, Zane, to know about real estate, about what you've learned? Like if you had advice to give someone, like what would that be?
The only way you lose is if you don't get back up. Just keep trying. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a long term sort of thing. A lot of things are going to go wrong, but that's the fun of it. This is a problem solving business.
See, this guy has just such a good attitude. Most people are shying away from the problems and he's looking for the problems to solve. And that's why he's becoming so successful. Okay. Let me ask this, man. Are you a little bit surprised at your trajectory this fast? Because I remember speaking to Zane. I was in my car in Seaside and like the sun was kind of in my eyes. And you may remember this. Thanks for posting that. So that is the raising $10 million a year with Justin there that we posted, I believe, yesterday. So that's in the chat. Are you a little bit surprised at your trajectory? Because you're a little bit hesitant to jump in, but Charlie told you what he had done. Then you come in, and 90 days later, so September, October, yeah, 90 days later, we're having this conversation about 300K plus and the trajectory of $1 million a year one. And for a lot of people, they think, man, that's a 5-10 year vision. Are you surprised at this?
I think I told you in our first call that that was my goal before I even started.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do it. I saw other people do it. I want it.
Cool. Fantastic. All right, guys. Any other questions for Zane? So I want to make sure you guys get what you need to from this. And so Robert says, so 300K, what is free cash in the bank? So from the deals that you have, what do you think is going to be net cash?
I don't know. I mean, I might have more in equity than 300. I mean, that's my
I think
problem.
you do. I mean, we're being conservative like you are.
Yeah, I think I do. So probably like 150 or 200 net cash.
Yeah, that
Awesome.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So guys, if this is better than what you're doing, and I suspect for a good chunk of you guys that aren't with us already, that it is better than what you're doing, book a call with us. We put the link in the chat there. It's our point to give back to the investor community. I got involved in real estate when I was 23 because I thought, I'd heard real estate created more millionaires than any other asset class. So I said, let me go into real estate where I have the highest likelihood of being successful. And for me, I did not have a start like Zane. Okay. It was year 6 for me before I started doing transactions monthly. My first year, I did, I think, 3 deals. My second year, I did 3 or 4 deals. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this. And it really comes down to 3 things. Number 1, we have to have the right people, the right sellers that we're talking to. Number 2, we need a plan for the time that that lead is captured to get them to the purchase agreement. And then 3 is the deal structure systems that we've talked about, that we need to be able to structure things in a different way where we're keeping cash and credit on the sidelines. And then when we have a monster deal that is 115 going to 240, then yeah, of course, we can find the private money if we need to. Okay. If you need help with those areas, reach out, book a call with us. We'll talk about what your goal is, what your biggest challenges are. If we can get you across the goal line, then we'll talk about membership and what that looks like. If we see that maybe we're not the best fit, we'll do our best to point you in the right direction. Okay. Go ahead and book a call now. Zane, anything else you wanted to talk about tonight?
Any questions I can answer, any way I can help anybody. That's my goal. I grow by helping other people grow.
100%. Guys, anything else in the chat you guys want to cover? We're coming up on an hour. I want to make sure and keep this tidy but effective. So, yeah, Anthony, he is inspiring. It's so much fun to see. Zane is super sharp. That's right. Chris in the house. Chris was sitting right here a couple weeks ago at a roundtable event. And for my members, my next roundtable event's in Maui, Hawaii. We're going to go to the luau and get some sunshine and watch the rainbows and the dolphins. So that's January 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'll see you guys in Maui. Emil, that's great. I'm glad that this was helpful for you. My next continental U.S. roundtable, we're going to have right here in my conference room in Watercolor, Florida, the last week in February. I don't really remember the dates on that. Zane, you making Maui, dude? I don't think you are.
I wanted to, but then, I mean, it's really hard to get me to go somewhere. I just stay by my computer. That's me.
Yeah, right on. We looked at having an event in Asheville. I think it was 2022, and we decided not to because the event space was going to make us wear masks.
Oh, gosh.
During COVID, it was really crazy. And the only time that Lewis, good to see you. The only time that I've ever been asked for a vaccine card when I entered a restaurant was in Asheville, North Carolina. And I told my wife, I was like, we're going to go to the Chop House, which is right downtown. And not Chop House. Oh, gosh. Ruth Chris. We're going to go to Ruth Chris. And because I was like, they're corporate, they'll take our money, you know? And so we walk in, have a great dinner and everything. But I was like, you know, 3/4 of my members are going to revolt if I take them to a place and tell them to wear a mask. Like it's just never going to happen for the IC fam. So we decided to hold it back in Florida. Robert said 100%. Yeah, man. I know you're not putting on a mask anytime soon either. So Zane, dude, thank you so much for doing this. Karen says, what would you consider Zane's biggest challenges? I think that people that are transacting at this amount. Now, here's the thing. Zane doesn't have like deep family obligations. He's young, you know, he doesn't have like a lot of the social stuff that I do at 39 years old, having a family and, you know, obligations and that kind of thing. I see that people that are doing more than one deal per month get behind faster than they realize. And it's not on the purchase side. It's when, let's say you're doing 3 purchases a month. Okay. And you always have 6, 8, 10 houses on the purchase side that are pending to purchase. You've got 6, 8, 10 that are like make ready, go to market or being marketed sub 3 style. And you've got, you know, 4, 5, 6 that are selling all the time that need attention. What I see happens first, or one of the things that happens first, is that people take away their attention from the owner finance sales because they're limited by their time. Okay. And so days on market starts to go up. I don't think Zane is there yet, but I think it's coming more quickly than he realizes. And so it's like, okay, come up with a sheet of everything that you enjoy doing, come up with a different sheet of the things that you don't enjoy doing. Let's start to hire and delegate some of this stuff out and start to build a team, you know? And the old adage, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others. I think that that's 100% true. And most of what I have done has not been because I did it. Like I haven't personally bought a house since like 2018. Like it's been my team that's done all this. And so like that's the next level to this is like, how do we get the right people on the boat? Right. So I think that that's what's coming for them. It's not the challenge yet, but that's the challenge that's coming that I see. Okay. Zane, thanks so much, dude. I appreciate you being with us. This was super helpful for people. And, again, you're really an inspiration for people that have gone slower, but now they think maybe I can go faster. So that's what we were hoping for tonight. Guys, appreciate you guys being with us. If we can help, reach out. Y'all take care, and we will see you guys next time. Take it easy.